What's up, everybody, and welcome back to the Virzi Effect Podcast Show. My name is Paul Virzi. You guys are listening to episode 535, and I told you guys I was going to be doing my first one from my non-home studio. Since COVID, I've been in a room off the garage, and I have the Burbank All Things Comedy Studio, but I am now in New York City.
Hell yeah.
For the first time doing the TVE with the dude I wanted on this guy who I love. This guy. I mean, this guy is one of my guys. He's got a special out called Bring Back Abu.
Yes,
right?
sir. Yes, sir.
And another special, a crowd work special.
Yes, sir.
The kid is doing work, and he's also a co-host of the Flagrant 2 podcast
Yes, sir.
with Andrew Themeles. Ladies and gentlemen, Akaash Singh.
Thank you for having me, buddy. Appreciate you.
I'm so glad you're doing this.
Oh, dude, I wouldn't miss it.
We talked about doing this, and I said, I want somebody. I'm big on doing podcasts like this. I'm big, and maybe that hurts me.
Right,
maybe
right.
that hurts me.
Yeah.
I've always been told I'm not a doing things for followers type of dude.
Yeah.
I'm a doing things with things
For
that
passion.
Yeah, and that people that I like and people that I could talk to and shit. Some people are like, "Oh, get that person," or "Do this with that person," or this person, or "You should go to LA and get on that podcast." Yeah, we all have to do shit like that, but it's like I like to just, whether that person is somebody that is gonna have 1 million followers or that person has nothing or in between. I just like doing shit with people that, and you remind me of me because I remember walking past the Village Lantern.
Yeah.
Back in the day, and you were out there hustling.
Yeah.
You were out there because you created your own stage time.
Right.
Because that's what you have to do, right?
Yeah.
When you're coming up and nobody's fucking with you, it's like, okay, well, I'm going to find a room that's going to give me the opportunity to put my friends on, myself on, get a crowd in there. I saw you out there hustling, always cool, always nice, and now look at you now.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it. And you were always, I remember you telling me, so many times you just get in my ear and be like, I see a lot of myself, and you keep at it. You're gonna do great things. And it was just so helpful to hear it from somebody who I knew related to me better than most, and that like you opened for Bill for so long.
Yeah.
And then, Bill's doing arenas, and then I'm so close to Andrew, and Andrew's blowing up, and then I'm here, and then you're just kind of behind this guy, and you're super close to him, and you love him, but there's that little part of you that's like, oof, is my time coming anytime soon?
Right.
And that voice can get louder and louder as time goes. So every time I talk to you, I always appreciated it.
Oh, no, I appreciate that. But I remember the crazy thing is, like, Bill would say things to me, and I've mentioned this on a podcast before, but, like, Bill would say things to me I couldn't even fathom. Like, I would be in my apartment. I had a baby. I had my son was like 2.
Yeah.
My wife is sleeping. I'm making $400 maybe a week featuring.
Yeah.
And Bill would be like, nah, dude, you're gonna do this, and you're gonna start selling out clubs, and you're gonna get into theaters, and you're gonna get a special. And I'm going, what the fuck is he? What the fuck is he talking?
Right.
Like, but it was just a belief from a mentor and somebody that saw it. And I'm sure, like, the same thing happens with you. But it's also they know what we do. Like, they know what we do.
Right.
I remember sitting down with Bill one time. He's like, man, I would never bring somebody on the road that doesn't make me work. Yeah. One of the coolest things is he's like, dude, you make me work, and nobody makes me work.
Yeah.
And so, but like I saw you hustling, and I knew, and you're also somebody who I related to because you're married.
Yeah.
And you got married like I did.
Right.
And had a family, and you realize that is all noise, people saying like you can't do that in this business.
Yeah.
People go like, oh, dude, how do you, like, what the fuck, dude? You're just tackling responsibility with all this stuff. It's like, does that hurt? It's like, no, it doesn't hurt. What would hurt me would be in a fucking studio apartment alone, excited about doing 3 $25 spots tonight and making some booker that means fucking nothing except me. That's fucking failing.
Yeah, I don't want it if it costs me a family. I want to be the biggest comedian on earth, but it's not worth it if I'm the biggest comedian on earth coming home alone to a mansion by myself. Horrors come and go. You know what I mean? Like, they're leaving, and then you're just talking to nothing. And everybody wants me time, but that is a void that does not fill itself.
I said this to somebody, and I didn't want to be disrespectful, but I said, not having a family or children.
Yeah.
And again, some people are gonna be upset and be like, "Hey, Paul, it's not for me." Fine. I'm not trying to be disrespectful, but not being married or having a family, I couldn't imagine life with like I feel bad for people that don't experience that. When you could see your child that resembles you and the woman that you love, and they're coming up and they're asking you for advice, and you're a god to them, and you could help them and take care of them. It's something that's amazing, and I think for me it helped comedy. You know, somebody that actually, a lot of people don't know how dope he is as a comic, and somebody that I really related to. And I remember, how wild is this? It's Ray Romano, but how wild is this? When I was coming up, my wife was like, I wish I could reach out to him, like to Ray, like, because we have the same type of thing, and you're trying to do this, and she knew the story of him and Italians and family and all that stuff. And then sure enough, we now have the same manager. I'm at a wedding, and I'm sitting next to him and his wife, and we're talking, and it was like by the way, he even told me, he goes, so many people don't know I do stand-up because the show was so big. Yeah. Raymond was so big that people didn't know. Dude, when that dude went on stage in the 90s, people would fucking flock down and watch. That dude was a straight killer. Yeah. And people didn't know. Yeah. And then he came to the Cellar not long ago before he did his special. Yeah. And people were like, what the fuck?
I watched
He's nasty.
That show with my mom all the time, to the point that I read his book when I was in high school. Everything in a Kite. It's like his stand-up in a book. And I just thought he was so fucking funny. And now I look at him and I think, because what you do, you said it's easy to keep a family. I don't think it's easy in this business. I think you just have to say, I'm going to do it. And I look at him as like I guess the gold standard of like, he's worth hundreds of millions of dollars on one of the biggest TV shows at the time in the country. Yeah. And was like, but it's my family. I'm not going to be out here wilding out because I got my family. So that's all great, and that money's great, but it's for my family. Right. And I just thought that's so hard to do and such like a goal.
And he quit. He quit. He quit once, came back, and was about to really just pack it up. He was about to be done. He was just about to be, I think he was he was selling paint. He was doing something. He was done. He wasn't going on the road. Right. And then the Letterman set. He got Letterman, and he did 7 minutes on Letterman, and it was a Worldwide Pants company. Yeah. And Letterman was a big part of giving him. Yeah,
Letterman loved him, I heard.
Letterman loved him, loved his comedy, and that's where the CBS sitcom came in. But when Ray would like really get busy on stage and say stuff and curse and stuff, like it wasn't all that. Yeah. You know, he was a little more clean and family, but when he let it go, he was saying real shit. And to be sitting next to him at a wedding and talk to him. And he was just like, hey, man, like, you know, good luck. And I'm hearing great things and all kinds of stuff like that. I was just sitting there going like, it's like, it really comes down to, as corny and cliche, you see those motivational things that are online?
I love all of them.
But they're all, you know what's funny about them? And I realize this. All the motivational things, they all seem similar, but that's because they work. Yeah. So it may be corny, cliche, but it's fucking like...
I listen to this guy, Eric Thomas, all the time. The hip-hop preacher. I listen to this guy fucking all the time. I love this guy. I swear to God.
Is that what he's like?
This guy changed my life. I was at a real low point, and I was just looking for, like, I realized you think you're confident, you're on stage all the time. I was like, oh, my self-worth actually is dog shit. And this is the hacky comic thing, but I was only past at Eastville Comedy Club at the time. I remember weekend shows, the host would be, like, about to call my name, and as he was doing that, the thought comes and goes, so you don't really grab it, but I would have the thought that exactly would say, I hope these people don't realize I'm a complete phony. Yeah. So you got to so I had to build up from like, I'm actually funny. I'm actually good. And it's still a road I'm traveling, but like listening to shit like that was helpful. I write to this day, I'll write little affirmations to myself. If anybody found my iPhone notes, I would kill myself. Yeah, yeah. But all that stuff works. I believe in all of it.
Listen, we're all sensitive bitches. We are all sensitive bitches. Yeah. We will choke up and cry. Yeah. We will we love a triumph story because that's us, because we were kind of an underdog. Yeah. And we wanted to prove. Think about it. You were not begging for stage time, but taking people off the street.
Begging people to come
to come in, right? And I remember, just being this guy who would, like, I'd leave my wife and I'd go, hey, I'm going to do this thing, and it was no money, and it was fucking, I came up in the black rooms. Yeah. I straight up came up in stand up 8 Mile style. That's real. I would drive from upstate New York to 125th Street Harlem, Uptown Comedy Club.
Uptown Comedy
Club. I did Uptown Comedy Club. I did Nell's. I did fucking Pork Knockers in Brooklyn, where they were fucking wanting to boo me off stage, eating wings and shit while I'm on stage.
I used to do every smoky room, and I would eat my dick all the time.
I did talents rooms. I did
Talent's the
Capone's
best,
room.
yeah.
I did all those rooms.
Yeah.
And just doing everything. And now, like, to have a special, I can't really announce it, but, you know, people pretty much know I have a special coming on a very, very major platform.
Hell yeah.
You know, and all these different things that I've done. And sometimes I do sit back and I go like, you were married.
Yeah.
People were like, what are you doing? You're not passed anywhere. You're
Yeah.
doing contests. You have no manager.
Yeah.
You have nothing.
Yeah.
Okay. Then one of the biggest comedians in the world sees me, believes in me. I start working. I do a special. Now I'm doing another big special and things. And I just look back and I'm just like, you know, somebody going back to the motivational speaking thing that said something that really hit me of all people, because I'm not really like the biggest fan of him. Not that I'm not a fan, but Logan Paul said something.
Yeah.
And it's the one where he goes, if you really want something and you're relentless about it, like you can't be stopped.
Yeah.
And it really is true. Like if you put your head down, you have to have talent.
Yeah.
You can't stink.
Yeah.
If you fucking stink,
Talent
you stink.
and self-awareness. You got to know.
Right, like there are
what you
people
gotta
that like,
improve on.
and the whole thing, well, you got to get up every night. Well, you know what? I know people that could get up 7 times a week. They stink. You know, you're going to, if you stink, you
Yeah.
fucking stink.
Yeah, yeah,
and if you have talent and you're inspired and motivation. You know, one of the dopest things my wife ever said about me was she said, tell my husband he can't do something, he's going to do it.
That's fire. That's fire.
And I said to her, I was like, that fucking got me.
Yeah.
That shit was like when
Yeah,
Adrian
yeah,
came
yeah.
out of a coma and she said to Rocky, win. And what are we waiting for? Like that was like, but because she saw.
Yeah.
She saw that I was just, and the cool thing is like somebody like, Bill Burr saw. Like Bill was like, dude, I remember one time, I'll never forget this. We did a show in Texas and I'm sitting at the bar and this dude started saying shit to me. And as he's talking to me, I wanted to just start texting my wife.
Yeah.
He's like, he just started saying, dude, you're a fucking beast. You're going to do, and he was just saying, and he used to not do that at the beginning.
Yeah.
So he would be like, oh, good job.
Yeah.
But then he started talking about me.
Yeah.
And what I was doing up there.
Yeah.
And I was just like, and when you hear that, you know, when you hear, you know, if Jordan or LeBron, you know, if Chappelle comes up to you,
Yeah.
you know, for me, I said if Eddie Murphy, and I know somebody close to Eddie, and somebody very close to Eddie that's working with Eddie was co-director on my special, and he did every Brian Regan special, and I was like, dude, if there's any way we could send even a clip of my special to Eddie, because if Eddie Murphy said I was funny, that would be for me.
That's it.
For me, that's it.
That's it.
For me, that's
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
Because for me, there's Eddie, there's everybody else. That's Babe Ruth for me.
Right. Right.
And because that shit means a lot.
Yeah.
It means a lot.
Yeah.
When somebody like that, you know, when somebody like that does it. So, but no, the marriage thing and the family thing, if that hinders you, then you were never. If that's what's good, anything that was going to take you out was going to take you out.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
The biggest bullshit excuse is being met. What is chasing bitches till 3 a.m. going to make you a better comic? Going out and drinking with every comic.
I think it
4
would've hurt
times
me.
a week. Yeah. There's no way that helps.
It would have hurt me. Yeah.
Yeah. It actually helps you focus a bit when you're like, oh, I just need to go home
Yes.
and not be out here chasing the
Because
night.
if you're chasing the night and somebody at 3 a.m. goes, hey, let's go back to my place, I got some blow, and
Yeah.
you're single, no commitment.
Yeah.
You're like, well, maybe I'll do that. And then all of a sudden you go to bed at 7 o'clock in the morning, you wake up feeling like shit. My set the next day is not going to be good.
Nope.
I'm going to be fucking crying in a depression for 2 more days.
You know what's the thing is, as I'm starting to get in a position where I'm trying to help the people around me, there's some people I try to help more, and then you'll see people, and this is not like because they're lazy or whatever, but almost always you can see like, oh, this is why you're not further along.
That's perfect.
And it's
That's
not
perfect.
always you're lazy or it's not. There's definitely people I know that are close to me that I'll tell them like, yo, you got to stop chasing the night. I see you doing this.
Yeah.
And if you want to make it,
Yeah.
some people can do that. You're not one of them. You can't do both. You or another guy, yo, you got to work on this thing in your act and they never work on it. Hey, you got to learn about this part of the game and you never learn about it.
Yep.
And at the end of the day, for most of the people I see, it ends up, it's on you.
Yeah.
Why you didn't make it. And that's a fucking brutal thing. But you see that in people you love and you're like, oh, I see why. It's on you. And I can see why for this reason right here.
I mean, I don't know if I could have said it better. I think you nailed it. And I have friends that I'm going to like, but you know what? It's almost like remember in Goodfellas?
Yeah,
Like Maury?
Yeah.
He just was going to get killed.
Yeah.
He was just going to get killed no matter what. They're like, yo, you got to stop asking about the money. You got to stop. And he just couldn't. There are comics that just, it's like if you were in like your business sense and the way you go about them, you're going to get whacked. And whacked, and whacked is just not getting to a certain, like, you can't help it. Because there are people that are just like negative. Like, I have friends that are funny and talented, but there's something lacking. And it's always like a naysaying, a yeah, but.
I hate yeah, but.
You know, yeah, but, or yeah, but that's because of this. And it's like, no.
Yeah.
No, it's not because of that.
Yeah.
Well, that person got that because of that. No.
Yeah.
No, that person got that because of them.
Yeah.
Okay? It's like, you know, so that whole negative shit and all it is, Akaash, in my opinion, it's just a, it's the words projection.
Yeah.
It's a projection of their own shit.
Dude, I'm the king of projecting. I used to do this shit all the time. I've worked on it. But you realize, like, yeah, man, these people, there's a lot of yeah, but. If I give you advice and you tell me why you can't do it immediately, that's the worst shit. No. That's that mentality that kills people.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's every time you say, like, no, man, I'm telling you, you go and do this. I remember one time I was talking to a dude. I don't even know if he's in the game anymore, but we were at the stand. And all he did, every single thing I said, everything I said, he was like, nah, but that's because, and I'm going, no, dude, no. And it started to get weird. People at the table were like, dude, what the fuck? And it was just like, no, because you got that show and somebody was there. And I was just like, no, dude. Like,
somebody was there.
Yeah,
Bill Burr was there. But I guarantee you there's people Bill Burr tried to help that didn't do it. That didn't take the help, they didn't run with it, didn't do whatever. And I guarantee you there's people Andrew's tried to help, and I used to be like, and I am so lucky to have Andrew as a friend, and he's done so much for me. At the same time, I'm sure there's people he's tried to help that didn't really want it and didn't go after it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, dude, there's been, I remember I told somebody, come to New York, and they came to New York. And all they did was, what I found out was drugs and drink and get a bad name for themselves. And it was like, well, dude, I mean, just, and then kind of looked at me in a way like, oh man, I did this. You told me this. It's like, I didn't tell you to come. I told you to come to New York where there's a scene and hustle. I didn't tell you to fucking do that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So people make it their own. It's listen, man, a lot of people got demons.
Yeah.
But what I've learned is that's your fucking problem.
Yeah.
And if you can fix it, great. But I'm not around. Joe Bartnick said something. He goes, I'm tired of talking people back into their careers. And it's true. It's like, I don't need to, if I have to like get you going.
Yeah.
I remember one guy goes, man, working with you this weekend inspired me, man. I'm going to start changing things. In my mind, I'm like, you're dead.
No, you're not.
You're dead.
No, you're not.
If watching me work and tear a room down all weekend and act like a professional and kill for an hour and do all those things, if that made you go, you know what? I'm going to get my shit together.
Yeah. Because it's not going to last.
It's not
going to last. They can motivate you for a bit, put that fire in the belly, keep it in the back of your mind, but if that's not in you, that's not in you.
Yeah. And another thing, Jordan Peterson said something, and I'm getting tired of that motherfucker crying.
Yeah,
all he does is
he's
getting like emotional with his, it's like he'll say something and he'll start crying.
And it's becoming a lot of, the left does this, the left. Why can't you just have a thing and just say your shit instead of being, the left will give you this. It's like, shut the fuck up. Dude,
and like, I don't need you to, like, you can't crack your fucking voice every time you say something profound. Like, if you, like, I like
his accent,
like one or two cries is like in your career, but like, you can't have like a fucking, you can't have a catalog of crying with every profound thing that you say. And that's what he does. But what did he say? Oh shit, he said something. Fuck, I forgot what I was doing. One thing he said though, he said, be careful who you share your good news with.
Yeah.
And that is something that I learned recently. And it was like, yeah, man, because there are that, everybody knows that people that are close with me knows I always hold my circle small, but that's purpose. Just because I've seen, because we are in a game of narcissists.
Yeah.
Not that they're bad people, not that there's malice or any kind of, but we're in a game of narcissistic, selfish, do anything to get on top people. Yeah. And I'm kind of an open giving guy. I know you seem like you're kind of an open.
I've worked on it. You don't want to be. I realized I don't want to be the guy that gets jealous of people. And it ended up benefiting when my best friend in this business blows the fuck up. That it's like I've worked very hard on checking that part of myself. It bubbles up, but like, yo, that's your brother. Be happy for him. You're my brother. Be happy for you.
Yeah.
Like these people tell you I might need to do some other things differently, but that's not their fault. I gotta be nothing but happy for them. And
I think being aware of weaknesses that you have to work on. Like for me, pandemic was a blessing for me because the one thing that I kind of got tired of people saying it. People were like, dude, your following is nowhere near your skill.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, yeah, because I don't, does somebody really want to see me making eggs?
Yeah.
You know? But they were like, well, in a way, you got to do something.
Yeah.
So my wife would be like, Paul, like, it doesn't matter, like, what you... And I was like, no, it does. Like, I was so focused on the art.
I do this all the
so
time.
focused on, like, just getting good because the special did good. I started getting dates and, you know, and now I'm working on the next special. But I was like, oh, you know what? You're right. So what I did, because I didn't even have Instagram for her. I mean, I'm like new to Instagram. Pretty much. Like, she had an account open and I just didn't fuck with it for a long time. And I'm like, all right, you know what? Let me fucking, let me stop this shit. And so I built a studio. I started to, the Virzi effect started growing. I just started to see an online presence, got a YouTube channel that started growing.
Got the TikTok.
And it's, you know, the TikTok was, I started to do TikTok and now we're working on a whole new thing because TikTok is huge.
Yeah.
So it's like, you got to be aware of like what you kind of are weak at.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's hard for somebody because when you tell somebody, hey man, you're good at this, and this, but that part of your game sucks.
Yeah.
And a lot of people have a hard time being like, yeah, it does.
Yeah. My wife is brutally honest, and I hate it every time, and I fight it every time.
And she's right, probably every time.
She's right, damn near every time.
Right.
Drives me nuts.
Yeah, and when you marry a strong, because you know, when you marry a strong, smart tiger like our wives, they'll be the first to just walk in and be like, "You fucking bitch," and you're like, "God, you're." And I fight it first, and then I'm like, and then sometimes I fight it for months, and then I go, "Yeah, you were right."
Yeah, 100%.
And having a strong woman in your life is fucking incredible.
It's great. It's great. It's a pain in my ass, but it's great. Like I wouldn't have it any other way, but god damn it, it's work.
Something funny that happened was you know, my wife is so organized, so just fucking we're gonna be, you know. So like Saturday, she's like, we're talking to our finance guy and the lawyer for the taxes. I'm in bed.
Yeah.
And she just comes in and I'm like, I'm doing it from here then. So come in the bedroom and put it on speaker because I'm not getting out of bed. And we're sitting there and he's like, all right, well, you had a good year and you made this and this and this and here are the taxes. And he gives a number and she just starts getting upset. Right?
Yeah.
And I'm going, babe. I go, that means we made more money?
Yeah.
So my wife is just like, things were easier when we were broke. she started crying. I said, things were easier when we were broke. I go, listen, you got to understand something. The more money and success that you get, you're going to have to pay the government more money.
Yeah.
But she was just so, all right, so now her thing is, we're paying quarterly taxes, get the quarterlies, do this and that. So now, last night she sat down. She knows I was watching a game. I was chilling, and she was just like, "Can I talk to you real quick?" She came with a folder and shit. And she came downstairs with a manila folder.
Yeah.
And I'm watching playoffs, and she's just like, "We're gonna have to put this aside for the first quarter, but then we're gonna have to go into this account and put this aside for the second quarter." And I go, "Can we?" I started to, and she just goes, Paul, and I just go, do it. I just said, do it. Just
You're gonna have to put this aside because I'm not doing anything.
Just do it.
You got the apps.
Yeah.
You know what though? You got to learn the game of finding all the write-offs and all that stuff. Y'all doing all that?
Oh no, we're doing that.
Get heavy into that.
Yeah, and you know, I got into the LLC shit, got the company,
right?
You know,
right.
start to.
Oh boy, I'd be
yeah. So you got it. There's a lot of things.
Yeah, I'd be trying to learn where's every possible write-off that applies.
Well, they said like who's that rapper? That rapper was talking. He goes, get an LLC. Yeah. He goes, and get an LLC for that LLC, because that's how you do it. Right. You know, you get the money and you put it in the company because listen, we fly. Yeah. We take car services, all that shit. But there's so much that we're comics. Yeah. If you would have told us that, I would have been like, what? What's a fuck LL what?
Yeah.
You know?
I read for the basics of finance. I read Rich Dad Poor Dad. The guy's kind of a crook. But like the basic idea, the way he looks,
the guy's kind of
a crook. He'd be like, he's like, yes, hey, go to seminars. Seminars are great. Also, I sell a seminar. But his idea of how to look at money was very helpful to me. And at first, he was like, get incorporated. You always think of corporations like a building. It's just a fucking Paul Virzi, LLC. And then every business expense is a write-off, so I don't get taxed on that money. Okay. Every flight, every car to a show. I Ubered here. That was the Uber I only took here because of the show or because of the podcast. That's a write-off. So if I have if I make $200,000, but I spend $100,000 in expenses, and I write all that off, now you're only taxing me on $100,000. I just saved whatever $20K out of pocket. But then the other thing he said was like the way he looked at assets. Or no, the way he looked at money, he was like, I'll take some really big risks because I manage my money very well. Right. So if you manage your money well enough, you can put $5,000 into something that could go to $1 million or it could go to zero, and either way, you're not hurt.
Okay.
And that's something that I've always remembered. So I'm not very risk averse at all, but I'll put money. I have put so much money into Bitcoin. My wife is horrified. But I was like, I know if we lose it, we'll still be okay.
Yeah, I just dropped some money into Bitcoin, and I keep looking at it.
Yeah.
And I'm just
Put it
going
away.
like, come on, man, like
Put it away. Just keep putting more money in that you can that you can afford to lose.
Yeah.
But just keep putting more money in and have faith in the long term that it'll blow up.
See, the thing with me is, and my friends goof on me, like I'm really fucking like I was talking to Bill, Pete. They're just like, they said yesterday, like, I just can't wait to see what you buy, because I'm gonna have a fur coat face. I'll buy a fucking listen. I told my wife I wanted to buy a horse. This is how, this is how bad I am with money. This is I talked about this in the act. I actually said to Stacey, I go, let's get a horse because we got land. And she goes, where the fuck are we gonna keep a horse? And I go, we'll figure it out. Like we'll figure. Yeah. Like I'm gonna buy some shit.
You're not gonna ride the horse, Paul. The fuck you gonna do with the horse? You gotta feed the horse.
I know. I'll be on a horse in Jordan 3s and a fucking. I'll be on a horse so wrong. Like I would just be like.
So you're not gonna pet the horse? It's gonna scare the shit out of you.
I know.
They're huge.
I know they're huge. There's probably not enough land, even though I have some. But like I'm on some like get a boat shit when I can't afford it. So like I need to and I think that's what scares Stace.
Yeah.
Because she's just like, listen, man, we gotta be like.
Just let her handle the money. You don't look at it. That's like an Indian tradition. Is the husband goes and makes all the money, and the wife just handles all of it.
Oh, is that right?
That's like super traditional.
That's like an Indian tradition where
not the tradition like we keep it going, but historically that's what it was. Like back in the day when
the
women
man
didn't
provides the money, and then the woman in the relationship kind of is the organized.
This is how it was explained to me. Maybe other people did it differently or whatever. My parents were like, my mom was like, in India, that's what it was supposed to be. Now, obviously, now women are working and it's a different thing, whatever. But back in the day, it would be the husband would work and he would make all the money, and the wife would take all the money and manage everything.
Okay.
So there's no like, I mean, I definitely do have second accounts and shit, I'm sure. But like the ideal was, the wife handles all the money and the husband goes and makes it. And then this is how it works. You don't have to stress about it now.
Right.
Your wife got it.
And that's a nice thing because it's like the stress comes from making it.
Yeah.
So then once it's there, like, hey, there's the check. You figure that shit out.
You get to do what you love. She gets to handle everything, so you don't buy fucking Clydesdales for no reason.
Yeah.
Start a Budweiser factory. Like, no, you're good.
Well, you know what I said to her? I was like, I go, just make sure. Because I go, this is what the fight was. The fight was, I go, leave some shit in my checking. I want a certain amount of my checking. And she goes, why do you need all that in your checking? I go, I just want to make sure I'm okay. Like, like I was like, because if something comes up where I need like 10, 15 grand on like that, I just want to make sure that there's a lot of that there. And she goes, Paul, I'll take care of you. You'll have plenty of, she goes, but I just didn't want her taking my shit, because, bro, I was watching that Johnny Depp. Please tell me you're watching this shit. No,
no, the Amber
trial
Heard thing. No,
dude, this is one of the greatest things.
I need to learn.
This fucking guy is taking this liar to the mat, in the likes of which I've never seen, and he's doing it like Johnny Depp. Like he's chewing his gum. He's got his ponytail. He's sitting on the stand, and he's just talking like, it was really uncomfortable, really, because she would hit me. And then there'd be audio of him going, can you stop punching? Like, you punched me. And she goes, no, I'm hitting you, but I didn't punch you. And then she's just sitting there seething.
Yeah.
Dude, she shit on his bed.
Yeah.
And then he's like, and just listening to him talk about it elegantly, he's like, she said it was our Yorkie. But he's 4 pounds. He goes, he's 4 pounds. So that didn't come from a dog. And dude, I'm fucking sitting there and I'm watching him say this shit, and I'm watching her on the split screen. She is getting to see somebody that lied. And they asked him straight up on the stand, why are you doing this? And he said, I'm doing this because I'm clearing my name for my children, for the people that love me and trusted me, because these things are just flat out not true. And that's why I'm doing this. And then everything that's coming about is killing her. And I'm watching a liar. Seriously, it's very rare. Yeah. It's very rare in this world that you get to see. Listen, I believe what goes around comes around. Mm-hmm. I believe you get what. It may come later. Listen, with Bill Cosby, it came later. Mm-hmm. With Harvey Weinstein, it came later. They did some monstrous shit, but it did come. Mm-hmm. The wave hit them, and you find out, and your career's over, and obviously not enough happened to them. Mm-hmm. But to visualize, to see the person have to sit in a court of law and get taken to the mat like that by a guy who's like, and he's doing it like a fucking G, and she lied. Dude, he had friends outside the door. And he goes, when you hear commotion, come in. And she was on the phone with a friend. He was 20 feet away in another room. And she goes, stop hitting me. And he was 20 feet away. And his friends came in. And it was like, nah, he's not hitting you. You're fucking making that. And she's got it. And she's sitting there. It is the fucking, it is. Listen, this is not an anti-woman thing. This is an anti-liar
but
bitch
it should
thing.
be.
Yeah, right? But dude, watching her have to sit in it, and it's like for men that go through that, I'm doing a joke in my act right now where I'm like, women could hit us, and shit is funny.
Yeah.
I had to smack the shit out of Mike last night. Haha.
Yeah.
It's like we can't, we can't do that.
I know.
But a woman could smack you in the head and go to work and haha. You know?
Weaklings.
Yeah.
So what, you get rewarded for being weak, bitch?
I love how you're getting mad.
Yeah, what's that?
I love how you're getting mad.
What's that?
No, but dude, I got to tell you something. Watching, and again, I never want to see somebody, but watching a liar and somebody that tried to take out a celebrity like this and to try to take out a guy like this and to hear that he didn't hit her.
Yeah.
Dude, she put a cigarette on his face and all this shit, and there's pictures of it, and she's just sitting there like with her hair done. It's the best.
Then why do they stay together forever? They should get divorced so early.
Yeah. It's. I'll be honest with you. If I heard one thing of the woman in my life, whoever it would be, going, he's got to stop hitting me, and like I wasn't, and like
I'm out.
I would be like, are you?
I'm out.
I would be like, you need help. Like
Yeah.
what?
I'm out. You're just gonna say he's hitting me to other people? I'm out.
Yeah.
You're fucking crazy, yo. That's crazy.
How long have you been with your wife?
6 years dating. We just got married
Total,
last year.
6.
Yeah.
Okay, so
2015 we met October, so 6.5-ish probably at this point.
You were doing stand up.
Yeah, after a show I saw her.
You were in for a while.
Yeah, I chased her down after a show.
Okay, which room was it?
Hoboken Comedy Festival in a fucking movie theater.
Oh, okay.
It was miserable.
That.
I didn't have fun at all. And then I remember, I think I looked in the corner of the room. And I think I remember thinking there was one hot girl in the corner of the room, but it's so fast. And especially for me, I wanted to marry an Indian girl. So I was like, oh, I think that might be a hot Indian girl over there. But it was so, I don't even know if that's a factor now. But I know when I left and I saw her from walking away, I was like, who is this girl? And then I started speeding up. And then her sister turned around and was like, I just want to see what she looked like. Her sister was like, can we get a picture? And I was like, yeah. And then that was it. That's
dude. I'm cool with Nate Burleson.
Yeah.
You know Nate?
Yeah. He's great, dude.
Oh, he's the best.
He's fucking great.
He's the best.
I didn't know. I mean, I remember him as a player, but as an announcer, he's so good.
No, he's fucking great. But this is a hilarious story about the Hoboken Comedy Festival.
Yeah.
So they booked me at a Hoboken Comedy Festival, and it's in some bar in the back and shit.
Maxwell's or some shit.
And it was some shit, yeah. And Nate Burleson goes, oh, dude, I'm in Jersey. Maybe I'll come. I didn't want him to come. So I go, yo, dude, I don't think it's sold out. I think it's sold out. I basically, so it looks bad because I can't get my friend Nate Burleson a ticket.
Yeah.
But I just didn't want him to be like, because it was one of those things where I was doing Good Morning Football on the NFL Network. And he was like, oh, dude, I'd love to come out. And I'm like, oh, I'll let you know. And then I was just like, dude, I can't have this dude come out with his wife to the back of a fucking pub.
No fucking chance.
You know, so I've gotten really good at and it's tough. I've gotten good at saying no, and a lot of people reaching out for shows and without being a dick. Because it's a very because I remember being a comic like when you were outside the Lantern and you would probably talk to some big comics. Hey, come through my show. As a comic who's young, you could be like, oh, that person's a dick. I remember Dean Edwards one time. I saw Dean and I go, Dean, you do my, and he goes, I would need, what would you get paid for that? He goes, I would need a cool G for that. And I remember being like, man, fuck, he was on SNL. And I'm going like, fuck that.
Yeah.
You know, I talked to him about it. We laughed about it. So now I'm at the thing where when people are like, hey man, you want to run through? I'll be like, if it's not really like I don't mean to be a dick, but like I live far away. I got kids and I'm just kind of not going to do something.
Yeah. I just don't respond to their DM. It's just they don't think I've seen it yet. They probably know I've seen it, but Instagram doesn't say I've seen it.
A friend I'll do. Like a friend
I'll do. I'm not doing your barbarshop for $15.
I mean, I'm not doing any barbershop.
Yeah.
I'm not doing a barbershop for $1,500.
Yeah.
Like I'm not doing a barbershop.
And you don't think how this sounds so whatever, like champagne problems, but you get so busy. Every minute is like, dude, if I'm not, this minute got to be worth it. If you're gonna take a minute of my time, this shit got to be worth it.
I know. And you see that, like, I understand why somebody's like that.
Yeah.
Because when you're not busy, you're like,
I
fuck
got all kinds of time. What the fuck could you possibly? And you're not like, you're looking at us like, you're not a doctor, dog. You're not on call.
I know.
What the fuck are you talking about?
So
busy. But I'm somehow always busy. I don't get it either. I don't get it, but I'm busy.
I know.
I'm stressed. My wife is like, every time I ask you what you have to do, you do this. And I'm like, yeah, I'm trying to remember what the fuck I got to do. It's a lot of things.
That's so funny.
Every time I'm like, fuck, I got this call. Then I got to go here for this thing. Then I got that. Then we got to do this for the... It's just too much.
Yeah.
All the time.
I know. And you get mad at somebody who's successful. You're like, what the fuck is he doing? When you don't have shit, you're like, man, fuck him. What? So he's got 3 podcasts and 3 shows tonight.
You ask them, they're scratching their head to think of one thing to tell you they have to do.
Yeah.
Fuck, I got an open mic at 6 p.m.
Yeah.
On 23rd and 6th. That's your day.
That's your day.
Nothing.
What did you do before? Did you do like I would say, this would be my guess, I could be wrong, but because I was sales. Were you in sales or no?
I was in sales for a year when I started comedy. I was pre-med, obviously.
Yeah.
Then I moved out to LA to do comedy. And then for a year, I worked at Verizon Wireless. And I was so shitty.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't give a fuck about selling your stupid PDAs or whatever.
You were just doing that for
it was steady money, and then there was a little commission. And at the like right before I started working there, people were making crazy money. And then legit, like a month before I started, they cut the commissions like drastically. So it was like, I can make an extra $1,000 a month. I don't give a fuck about this.
So did you have the typical like Indian parents that like you're gonna be a doctor?
Yeah.
So you're gonna be very disappointed when you
Still disappointed.
Still disappointed.
They're over it, but
they see that you're working at something very hard and that you're getting your success.
Yeah,
and so they're happy.
They were as supportive as they could be, which is my mom actually supported. She said, "Go find out, even if you can't do it, then wonder for the rest of your life." I don't think she knew I would stick in as long as I did without making any money. I think she thought I'd go out there for like a year. If it didn't work, I'd go be a doctor. Right. And I didn't, luckily, in hindsight, I didn't get accepted to any good medical schools. So I was like, all right, well, I feel like that's God's way of telling me.
What were you going to do in the medical field? Like what kind of doctor?
Anything.
Okay.
I probably would have been some, like, I have it in the special, I shit on like family practice doctors because I'm like, you barely passed medical school. I would have gladly done family practice.
What is family practice?
It's just like the doctor that you go to that's like, that's my family doctor, whatever. That's just, well, my whole family goes to this guy. And then he refers you to a specialist 99% of the time.
So like, if there's something bad, he'll send you somewhere else.
Like if you got a rash, you can't go straight to the dermatologist. They say, go to this guy first. And then that guy says, yeah, I can't do shit for you. Go see a dermatologist. He's just a giant middleman.
That's hysterical.
He's a fucking agent for real doctors.
He just fucking scrolls through his phone.
He's the booker for the real doctor.
He's a medical booker.
He's a medical booker. Got angry, didn't get what he wanted in life, but he'll refer you to the surgeon.
Did you? So you went to college, obviously, in where, upstate or?
No, I grew up in Texas, and I went to college like an hour outside of Dallas. 1,200 kids. It was a high school. I basically went to college. It was like a boarding school almost.
Oh,
super small. You knew almost everybody.
Okay.
When you saw people you didn't know, you were like, whoa, that's weird.
Oh, okay, so you're a Texas kid.
I'm a Texas kid, dog. I am a Texas guy through and through.
So Cowboys, Mavericks?
Cowboys, Mavs, absolutely. Cowboys are so bad, I'm like, and they're so determined to not hire real football people that I'm like, I'm kind of over this.
You're over this.
Finally in my life, I think this year I'm like the draft is coming in a week. I'll read a little bit here and there.
Are you a Dak? Do you like Dak or no?
I think Dak is good. I think
like
Steven and Jerry are so bad as GMs. That they're going to fuck everything all the time.
Anytime an owner tries to be the GM.
Never works.
It's like, dude, just hire a guy. You have the money to get the brain. Yeah. Get the guy that can do it, that's successful. You could have input.
Yeah.
But a guy like Jerry Jones, I think James Dolan, because Knicks are my everything.
Yeah.
Knicks are my everything.
Same. Knicks are the Cowboys of the NBA.
Yeah, the Knicks are my everything. Yes, I'll do anything for the Knicks to win. Like, I'm a Yankee fan. I'm spoiled because I'm a Yankee fan and Giant fan. I have championships. The Knicks are my problem child.
The only hope we have is those owners rape somebody.
Are you?
And then have to sell the team.
Yeah, like a racist comment on tape. Like what's his name? The kid from the Clippers.
Yeah. But even in the NFL, that's not enough. The NBA, that'll get you. That'll get Dolan. NFL, they'll be like, oh, okay.
Yeah, and at this point in the NFL, you need a dead hooker confirmed in your trunk.
Yes.
And then it's like an 8-game suspension.
You on tape. You on tape stabbing her. Maybe that'll get you.
Yeah. Oh, that's cool. So you didn't do any stand-up in Texas, though, right? You went to L.A.
I did a few times in college. And but I remember the third time I think I did it. Oh, no. First time I did well. Shouldn't have. In hindsight, it wasn't a good set. Second time, I did the same set at my college. The first time was like an open mic in Denton, where a bunch of people came to. Yeah. Denton is 2 hours away from where I went to college, small town. Third time, I bombed my fucking ass off, dude. That same Denton place that I went the first time, like 12 friends came to see me. Thought it was gonna be this huge thing because I did well last time.
Yeah.
I ate my ass so hard, dude. I got pulled off stage. And then I did it one more time in college, but that went well. And I was like, okay, now this is, even with that shitty ass show that happened earlier, this is what I want to do.
Yeah. I'm a believer, and I don't know how you feel about this, but I am a believer, and the older I get and the more that I see, I'm a believer in I'm a believer in things it was written, in a way, just how things have happened in my life.
Right.
But somebody that, you know, it's kind of funny that somebody who was like you expected to go to medical school and expected to do all that, and your parents want to do that, and there was just something in you that was like, nah, this.
I remember the moment where I was like, I know this is what I want to do. I won't say it out loud, but I know this is what I want to do.
You felt it.
The first time I was on stage, the audience was laughing. You know, you have your script because you're not living in the moment.
No, you have it all.
Yeah. And the audience was laughing so hard I couldn't get to the next line, and I was like freaking out, like, oh shit, dude, they're laughing too hard, I can't get to the next line. And then in the back of my mind, I was like, oh fuck, they're laughing so hard I can't even say what I want to say. This is the coolest feeling ever. And you just feel like you control the whole room in this way that you've never probably felt before. Yeah. And it was like, yo, this is amazing.
Yeah. And then isn't it funny that you go from that?
Yeah.
And then, you know, you stand up, you open for your buddy at Radio City, right?
Yeah.
So you stand on stage there.
Yeah.
And I remember standing in the round, and I had the set of my life, 18,000 people at Madison Square Garden. Set of my life. I couldn't have went to bed the night before and dreamed it better. People come up to me and say, I still remember your set at the Garden. You fucking, Chris Rock said I killed at the Garden.
Wow.
I killed the Garden. And I was standing there. And then I remember sitting home, and my wife going like, all right, man, like, I'm in this with you. No manager, nothing like that. And then it goes there, and it's like, there's got to be, in my mind, there's got to be something that takes you there.
Yeah.
And then what's next? And then all of a sudden a special. And then you start getting into movies, and you start doing all these things. And it's like, and it comes full circle to what we're saying. It's like, if you want it and you're talented.
Yeah.
Dope things happen.
Yeah.
I think dope things happen.
Let me ask you a question. And this is something I wanted to ask since the beginning of the pod, when you brought up Bill saying, like, you're going to do theaters, you're going to do this. You didn't believe it then. What was the moment you were like, do you remember the moment you were like, nah, he's right, I'm going to do that shit?
I'm going to tell you the truth. I believed it when he said it, but I couldn't see it.
Right.
Like, I would so I always had this thing. Where I was like, I'm going to do something with this. I'm going to.
Yeah.
I felt it, and I knew, because I was funny from day one, but I wasn't a good comedian from day one.
Right.
Because what people don't understand is, and I say it all the time, being funny and being a good comedian is two different worlds.
Yeah.
Two different worlds. You know, my uncle's funny.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you could have people.
That's great. That's perfect. I'm going to steal that.
Yeah. You could be funny and be a bad comedian.
Yeah.
I was funny and then slowly getting to be a good comedian. And then all of a sudden that 10-year point where I really had my voice. So when Bill said that to me, I kind of thought it, but I was like, how is he seeing it clearer than me? Like, it was my dream.
Yeah.
And I think I can get there. But he was talking to me as if it already had happened.
Yeah.
And that was something that I was just like, you know, and he would say wild shit to me. I'd be like, man, I'm trying to get on this show. And he would go, no, they're going to come to you. I'm like, what? And like, all of a sudden, like, then, you know, fast forward and people ask me to do their shows. So it's like, it's just, I guess you watch somebody, and I think he saw the work ethic.
Right.
I think he saw the laughs. I think he just saw you're going to figure it out and find your voice. So yeah, I mean, I knew, but I was just like, how is he saying it now? That was the thing.
Yeah.
When he said it, I was not making this. So I'm going like, wow, he's really feeling my dream, but even more.
Yeah.
And that was very, that took me back.
Yeah.
That was really, and especially from him, you know, when
did you see it though? When were you like, oh, is that just something that happens over time?
I knew, 5 years into comedy, 5 years into comedy, I said to somebody, and this is somebody that was negative in my life, who I cut out of my life because we had done an audition and it didn't go well for him, and he was being a dick that night. And I was like, I'm going to make noise in this. I'm going to make noise in this game. And he was just like, man, well, you know, everybody thinks that. He was saying shit like that. And I remember, like, right then and there, like, the friendship was over.
Yeah.
I knew, you know, but I knew, I was like, I think I could, you know, and then I just had some dope happen, and I'll say it now. Brian Regan just saw my special, and he texted me.
Oh, that's fine.
And he was like, dude, me and my wife watched that shit, and he's like, congratulations, it's a great job.
Yeah.
And I was just like, you see that and having Burr and certain people watch what you do and go like, dude, that was, when Burr said to me, he goes, your first special let me realize that you belong in the league. This one, you're one of the guys. And I was just like, but it's like, well, yeah, what am I have kids. What am I doing? Of course, that's what, like, not in an arrogant way, but yeah, like that's why I'm leaving my family and getting on those airplanes constantly. And that's why you're going to be leaving your wife and go to this city. And that's why you're going to Toronto today. Yeah. Because what's going to happen is it's like you're trying to get to, I'm trying to get to where Bill Burr is or more. And you're trying to get to wherever you, and more. Yeah. So when you're standing on, it doesn't, every time I open for Bill Burr, I want them to remember me.
Yeah, 100%.
Because you're only going to get maybe 10, 15% of them to remember you.
100%.
Because they're not there for you.
Yeah.
Right? They're there for one of the greats of all time. But if you could give them a punch, like remember Rocky 1? When he's fighting in Rocky 1 and he's kind of losing. But then all of a sudden when he hits Apollo and it was like, oh shit, this got real. That's what I wanted to do with every Burr crowd or every crowd. Even if I opened for David Tell in Raleigh. I opened for Brewer in Las Vegas. You want to just, when they go, who the fuck was that?
Yeah.
I remember the late, great John Panette, rest his soul. I opened for him once, and people were like, hey, man, at first we were like, we don't want to see anybody but him, but you, that was fun to watch. That was always the goal.
Yeah.
To just, so, and I'm a competitive lunatic, man. I'm a competitive lunatic. Dude. I used to watch somebody on TV and call my manager during it. I'd be like, what the fuck am I? What the fuck? And it was, but that wasn't healthy. Yeah. Because that person's path ain't my path.
Yeah, you have to learn to harness that.
Yeah, and I was younger, but that was, I just had this thing. Yeah. But you want to know the real truth? And this is the real fucking truth. Yeah. The real truth is I wasn't good enough at that time. Yeah. I'm sorry, but I wasn't good enough at that time. Yeah. When I got Montreal, it was time for me to get Montreal because that's when I was good enough to do it. Right. Because the other times when I complained and I thought I did okay and I should have got it, I shouldn't have got it. Right. I should have got it when it was undeniable and the person who ran that audition said that person belongs here. So a lot of times we bitch, but it's like you weren't good enough at the time. To you know what I mean? Things happen when you are good enough. So we talk shit because we have pride, but it's like get that good. Yeah. No, that's a good point. We talk a lot of shit like, oh man, I could be there. And maybe you could be there, but when it's undeniable. That's the difference. We could all be there. There's people who get stuff they shouldn't get. You're just mad you're not one of them. You're not saying I'm good enough. You're saying, why can't I be one of the guys who's not good enough but still gets it? That's what it is. Yeah, we got 5 minutes left. That's exactly what it is. Yeah. It's like you could be there, but you're kind of like, oh, this person, in a way, you're like, is this person getting like a free ride? Yeah. Not a free ride, but like an easier. And why ain't I getting that fucking ride? I want that ride. Right. I was in fucking Brooklyn almost getting booed off stage. Yeah. I was doing all that. And this doesn't almost getting booed off stage. You almost got booed off stage? I would love to almost get booed off stage in Brooklyn. Yeah. That'd be my dream. I got booed off everywhere. You know what's funny is when you're in a bad set and it's teetering. It's teetering where it's like, all right, dude, look, this is I'm either going to rescue this shit, or it's like bases loaded, full count. Yeah. And your next pitch is going to determine a lot. Right. And I had that happen without knowing. The first time that I did the Garden with Burr, it was the first time. It was in 2014. I hosted DeRosa, went in the middle. Second time when I did the round, I went in the middle. But there was that attack in Paris. Oh, and shit. And like a bunch of people. So I was just like, I'm tired of giving a fuck about like things that happen. And all of a sudden I started hearing like, and I was having a good set, but I started hearing and then I just, as soon as I'm not going to say they were booing or anything, but the Paris thing happened. And when I said that, I felt something and I just was like, oh, boom. And I just went to another thing. But when you're on stage and shit's like, shit feels like you're like, this might not go well. Yeah. There's a crazy free feeling with that though, right? Because it's like you're in the plane there's some turbulence. Yeah, there's a free feeling when I find out when I bomb a show, I take everything down. Like, you burn it down. Yeah, now that people are coming to see you, it's weird that they almost like enjoy the rawness of the moment. But I'll pull up a chair and I'll be like, "You guys are not worth standing for," and then I'll just start fucking digging in. Yeah. But you get defiant. Like, I refuse to go. This whole shit sinks, or we all swim to the top. Yeah. I'm not gonna be the only one out here unhappy. Yeah. You know what I mean? And what I learned after that Madison Square Garden thing is, if I do that again, I'm just gonna say, that's how I feel. Yeah. So because some shit happened, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, some shit happened in the news and I feel bad, but like I'm just gonna say what I fucking feel, and that also comes with not being afraid and experience. So where can people see you, man? Because I want everybody listening to check this guy out. This guy I always said reminds me of me coming up. And where are you gonna be, man?
I am gonna be. If you want to. Any date you want to get, you can get at akaashsingh.com. That's AKAASHSINGH.com. That's my Twitter. My TikTok is Akaash Singh Comedy. My Instagram is Akaash Singh. And then the Flagrant 2 podcast. Or you can check out my specials, Bring Back Apu, or Back to Back, the Crowdwork special. 2 specials in 2 months.
2 specials in 2 months, and that's gangster because you put out one that has nothing to do with the other.
Yeah, that was
like
the idea.
the crowd work thing. And any dates?
Yeah, I'm going to be at Fairfield, Connecticut, the Bridgeport, or whatever they call the Stress Factory in Fairfield, April 28th through the 30th. I'm going to be in Holland, Muskegon, and whatever the fuck in Michigan, and Grand Rapids on May 12th through 14th. May 19th through 21st, and May 12th through 14th, Tacoma, Washington. And then a bunch of other dates if you check my website.
Yeah, check the website. Check out the specials, guys. The dude just, I love his style. He's honest, and, like I said, reminds me of me, and the dude's hungry, so... do that, and he's married. His wife's taking care of the money. So
yeah, exactly. Except for the Bitcoin, that's all me.
That's on you if it crashes.
Yeah, for sure.
Guys, thank you so much to the new listeners of the Virzi Effect. And like I said, we're gonna try to do this with a guest in the New York studio. Shout out to Mike Albanese, the hilarious Mike Albanese,
Love you, Mike.
Who hooked it up. I will be, and thank you for all the new subscribers on the YouTube channel. Keep subscribing to that, the Virzi Effect, also, and get it everywhere you get your podcast, iTunes, Spotify. Also, Anything Better that I co-host with Bill Burr. And where am I going to be? Tampa, Florida, Side Splitters, May 5th through the 7th. I'll be at Helium in Buffalo, May 26th. I'll be at the Punchline in Atlanta, June 3rd, 4th, and 5th. And I will be at, where else I got coming up? I got the American Comedy Company, San Diego, California, at the end of June through July. And there's going to be a lot of dates coming up. Guys, the special is done. It is locked. We have a platform, and that will be coming out in the next 2 months. I'll let you guys know about that. This has been episode 535 of the Virzi Effect with my guest, dude. Thank you so much for being here. And I'll see you guys next time. Thank you.